We're live. People, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all doing well and safe this Sunday. Definitely Arsenal fans, there should be more of a spring in your step. You should have more of a spring in your step purely because we actually managed to win the game yesterday. We actually managed to get 3 points. We're not dreaming. We got 3 points. For me, we can't get ahead of ourselves. In isolation, it's a great result. And those of you that have been following my live streams and the content I've posted today, chopping up those live streams, you understand what I mean and things like that. I also like to apologize for those of you who like my green screen and things. I was having a mare with it and I got frustrated. I just said, you know what, F it. Today we're not going with it. I can't be bothered, really. I guess the next step for me is how to pattern lighting because I'm getting really frustrated with it. I want it to be spot on, but you lot can't see. There's actually not that much space within where I do my videos to maneuver and move lights and things like that. So you're kind of stuck with it of sorts, people. But like I said, I appreciate all of you lot tuned in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. It doesn't cost a thing, but it helps me obviously spread the message and get out there more. So far, I see 14 of you, 15 of you here, and there's 11 likes. So we're off to a good start. Wayne, you're always here, man. I really appreciate you. You said finally a win has come back to Arsenal. My GDG, I'm checking in. I appreciate you, my guy. Big up yourself, Dan. You got Wayne and Dan. Big up yourself, Alex, as well. It means a lot. Means a lot. Fahim, with all respect, I'll have my own Discord, but you're free to plug what you need to plug to the rest of the people, them in the chat and things like that. Jay, big up yourself. You're fully right. My guy, it was a Christmas miracle. And for me, in isolation, like I said, it's a good result. We wake up today feeling better. I won't say we've stopped the rut and we've stopped the bad form because I need to see 4 or 5 games on the spin in results like this, really and truly. Today you've got Brighton playing as well. I actually want to make sure I've actually got their channel up, people, because I, as you lot know, got my little scouting cap on. I'll be watching the Brighton versus West Ham game purely to just see what we can expect when we play them on Tuesday. And again, like I said, the result is fantastic in isolation. The boys can go away, have a decent sort of Christmas. They didn't really get Boxing Day and they definitely didn't get Christmas Day. It's a penalty in the Leeds game. I'm flicked in at the right time. But like I was saying, have a decent sort of day with their family. Have a good result in isolation. Know that whatever work you lot did last week, it paid off. Store that. But it's irrelevant on Monday, because we're going against Brighton and they're actually playing today. We played yesterday. Football is becoming about fine margins and things like that. So with that being said, I don't know how much 24 hours rest in relation to our opponents can do for us, people, really and truly. And it's like Louise said, let's not get reactionary or get excited about the result. And I'd actually change that. You can be excited about beating Chelsea, but like you said, it's one game at a time. If we beat Brighton, if we lose to Brighton, it's irrelevant sort of thing. It means nothing, and we need to stop the rut, like I said, people. And you're seeing a lot of stuff come out today. I've seen Xhaka's, with Xhaka, big up to Xhaka, because at the end of the day, if it went wrong, everybody and their nan would be speaking about Xhaka. His name would be trending across all socials. We do know at times Xhaka is unfairly scapegoated, but I speak for the balanced fans when we say he's not good enough, he's not consistent enough. And for me, I'm not gonna moan, because yesterday you gave me what I wanted to see. You put in a result for the right reasons, even though I don't think you should have started, but you put in a shift. You had a decent game. You scored a good goal, of course, and you was part of a good collective. And obviously that's the right way. Score a goal and play well. That's the right apology to me as a fan. That's the right things of doing it the right way. But for me, listen, I'm not going to harp on about things, but I just think it's a bit funny how there was no real social media interaction with Xhaka, and now Xhaka has come out and talking about a lot of people talking things like that. And this is what I mean by when we win games, everyone wants to come and talk. You're seeing all these senior players, with exception of Tierney and Saka, because whether we win, lose or draw, I'm seeing them face the music with the media. You're seeing everybody come out, everybody talking about desire and spirit and the rest of it. And again, like I said, big up Xhaka, because whether I like you as a player or not, once you cross that chalk and you're representing my club, then I'm all for that. But it's like it is a bit funny seeing. I'm loading it up, people. I really should have logged in on my laptop for you guys, but I wasn't planning to. Let me zoom in. Apologies, people. I've really butchered it. There's too much lights and brightness. But as you can see, there's a picture of Xhaka and Lacazette. And the caption goes, sometimes actions speak louder than words. Proud of our team tonight. And that's facts, Xhaka. But I want to see it against Brighton because it goes out the window. Last time we went to Brighton, what happened to us? So again, the Spurs, you can't rest on your laurels with the Chelsea game because you're still going against a run of form where you've lost to Villa, Wolves, Spurs, drawn against Southampton, lost to Burnley, lost to Everton, you know. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's be happy that we've beaten Chelsea, but apply that in a better way now. Let's go and try and do something. If you know, you've seen a caption of my video and everyone's talking about it. Can it be a turning point? It can only be a turning point if these boys want it to. If they get too excited and get complacent and think, yeah, the pressure's off me, off the manager, off the clubs because we've won, then we're gonna be back to square one. You know. We're going to be back to square one. You know, they should let the YGs do all the talking first and foremost. And you're right, my guy. The harder you work, the luckier you get. You know, when I'm seeing Arteta previously talk about luck and these things, I didn't get it because we're not working hard. When you work hard, you get little things like the penalty, like Xhaka scoring a free kick, like Leno, you know, big up Leno for saving the pen. But, you know, things go your sort of way when you work hard. I'm sure if you ask Jurgen Klopp or Sir Alex Ferguson and all of these managers that have won stuff, they will tell you the same thing, people. So it's good for the fans. It lifts morale temporarily, but in the same way it's lifted it, it can go very toxic because if we lose to Brighton or don't put in a performance, it's 1 step forward and 10 steps back. Big up everyone. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. You know, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm seeing bare people, you know, we've got Chicago, Chirac in the building. We've got Atlanta, you know, well, you're Atlanta/New York, Wayne. So we've got 2 states in the building. Big up yourself, Devil's Delight. It's all about the mentality here on NDG. Can turn quickly, need at least 3 wins in a row. And that's what you said, mentality. Forget the tactics and all of these things. It's mentality, you know. You needed to be up for the Chelsea game because you've been getting pumped. You know, if we lost that game, where do we go? You know, same thing against Brighton. I want to see if we lost that game against Chelsea and you lot played the same way. I'd say, all right, cool. I'm not going to say that it helps everything, but at least I'm seeing some desire, some hunger. I saw people want it yesterday, and you've got to want it all the time. You can't just want it, you know, 50% of the time. There's 38 Premier League games against some tough opposition. You're going to need to be at it 9 times out of 10 to have a snowball's chance. That's just the realness of how it works, people, really and truly. That's just how football works, and I'm sure you all know the same, people. It's that simple, really and truly. You know, big up Bellerin, who was our captain. You know, Bellerin did well, but I also feel Tierney should. I think Tierney's pushed himself into being the captain for this club in some capacity. I'm not really one of them man who sit here and say things like, oh, he ain't been at the club long enough, which is true. But, you know, Saka ain't been here 2 minutes. Tierney ain't been here 2 minutes. Gabriel ain't been here 2 minutes. Partey ain't been here 2 minutes. And I'm seeing people that look like, you know, that look like captains and look like they want to be here. So if you've got the mentality, it doesn't matter if he was here for 30 seconds or 30 years, you know, grab the thing. He should be captain, really and truly, or have a sort of part to play in the captain thing and whatnot. Good evening to you, my guy. Big up all the Hounslow Tugs. That's West London, if my geography is right. You know, I am showing positivity. What are you talking about? I'm happy about the result, but I'm not going to cap. You know what, Johnny Bravo? You have to get blocked, man, car. We're here for balance. Anyone that doesn't preach balance, anyone that doesn't understand where we're coming from and is forcing things, you have to come out. It's you know, this is a free service, so I'm not going to hear nothing. As I said, you know, we are balanced. Where I said I'm ecstatic about the performance, but it doesn't mean anything now. The game's gone. It's what you do against Brighton. And that's the thing with fans. You either, when we win, man on the shut up and stuff. When we lose, guys want to be doom and gloom rather than apply balance all cases of the time. And whether we've won, lost or drawn, I believe fans, we need to keep the same energy. We need to keep the same energy in forcing this club to make changes. It's January next week, you know. The only thing that's going to save our season is mentality fixing up and players playing better, of course. But also at the same time, we all know we need players. We need some players into this club. It's simply not good enough, really. You know, we're going to need stuff. So yeah, before we get into anything, let's review the game from a tactical point of view, people. If you see me look to my left, it's obviously because I've got the monitor here. And, you know, we're using it as guide points. I want to start off with Chelsea because, again, I'm not a Chelsea fan and I don't want to speak about them too long. But, again, it's a bit like when Arsenal lose, in the sense of, I don't want to discredit the opposition for once being us who benefited. I don't want to discredit the opposition, but at the same time, I think Chelsea were very slow, very lethargic. You know, I was expecting to see 1-2s, free touch, well, 2-touch, 1-2s, triangles and things. Never saw that. Saw them going long a lot of times. Actually seeing these players struggle to play 5-yard passes, really and truly. It was quite poor from a Chelsea regard. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, really and truly. In fact, people, I actually just realized I bought some markers. Give me 1 sec, I'll buy these markers. So when I flip this out, I'll go and get my markers. So when I show this to you guys, it makes sense. 1 sec, people, 1 sec. Don't forget to hit the like button. There's 100 odd of you in here. Literally 30 seconds. I'm going to get the markers. Getting the markers. Big up everybody locked in. Shout out to Mesut Ozil for having me for 30 seconds. I got the markers in it. But like I was saying, before I back that out, I ain't seen no 2-touch passes, triangles really from Chelsea. I think the only things that I was speaking about and you were speaking about going into the game, hey man, I'm tired running up that stairs. Jeez. Anyways, you know, I think the only thing that rang true is Tammy Abraham scoring late goals. He scored a late goal, and they obviously scored from a cross, which are two things we knew about going into the game. I think it's a bit early for drinking, my guy, but true, you know, really and truly, that's about 5 shots. Go and lick off your head back. But yeah. They were too slow, they were too lethargic, they're struggling to make 5-yard passes. It looked like them Chelsea players were a bit complacent, thought they would just turn up and win. It did feel like a couple of them were enjoying Christmas, I have to assume, you know, with the exception of Kante, because I know Kante is a devout Muslim, and or at least I believe he is, and he doesn't drink alcohol. There might be a couple more in the team like Zuma, but I can imagine if you didn't drink alcohol, you must have had hella food yesterday for Christmas. And some of them look hungover, some of them look lethargic, you know. I listen, it's Chelsea, and I'm not going to complain. You know, I don't think they had any ideas. They're struggling to make couple yard passes. I felt Pulisic played quite well, but I feel Pulisic and Werner, they didn't help their fullbacks at all, even in the build up to the penalty. Tammy Abraham, for us, you know, I think Marie and Holding did quite well on Tammy Abraham, but for them, it was a bit of a political one. What else have we got? Like I said, more long balls than usual. I think they gave Xhaka too much time, you know. It's no coincidence. You press Xhaka out of possession. He's one of the worst in the league. You give him 20 years on the ball, and even Xhaka's going to look like Xavi and Iniesta, which they failed to do. Gave Tierney too much space, gave Saka too much space, gave Smith Rowe too much space, especially as Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Tierney, all of them players gravitated towards the left-hand side. No, I know some Muslims celebrate Christmas, you know. It's Christmas is, I'm not going to say Christmas isn't religious, but at least speaking here in the UK, it's become a sort of, I wouldn't, culture is not the right word, but a sort of just thing we do in it. It's like people like, you know, I have a lot of Muslim friends that don't celebrate it, but they'll still, you know, their friends and family will still come around. They'll have a meal, in my opinion, or what I see. So it's not a religious thing. It is a religious thing, but it's more of a cultural thing, if that makes sense. Like it's a good time to be around family and stuff like that, and things like that. So yeah, man, I feel Callum Hudson-Odoi looked good for Chelsea when he came on, just because he's providing some width. I think Jorginho, yeah, he missed the penalty, but he was doing all right. But we were just overrunning them, really and truly. Like, again, I know this is, people tell me if you can hear me. I'm moving the mic. Can you guys still hear me perfectly? Because again, yeah, you know, they lined up in something along the lines of this. Yeah, you saw where, well, you lot actually can't even see because it's doing, the lighting's doing me a madness. You know, I am trying to kill him with the really and truly. I hope you got white rum, because I want your head back to be lifted. But yeah, man, you saw us. It's no coincidence for me. You saw us go with a 4-2-3-1. We played players in the right positions. We played the players who had a point to prove and the best performing players, with the exception of Bellerin and Xhaka, because prior to the game we was looking at them like they're a bit dodgy. Fair play, they did their thing. But it's no coincidence. And you know, we played players in their right positions. They played better. We played the right players. We played better. Certain players put in a shift for their manager, and we did our thing. Now, for me, before I carry on, You know, I felt we should have started Aubameyang going into the game, because if he's fit enough to be on the bench, for me, I'd rather give him a run out and then take him off. But all managers' decisions were backed up. And I feel Chelsea struggled. First and foremost, you had Werner and Pulisic people. Now, they struggled. You know, Werner was out here just running into blind alleys. I think Pulisic was doing well. But you see Pulisic's problem, people. Pulisic's problem, apologies. Sorry, people. These are the fullbacks. Apologies. We'll get onto that. I'm looking at it the wrong way around. I lost a couple of blue, celebrating yesterday. I threw a couple of blue ones away. So this is the front three. But like I said, Werner was doing a madness. You know, he was trying to just run into blind alleys. He didn't know what he was doing. You know, it didn't work on the left-hand side. You had Tammy Abraham, who I felt he scored and he deserved his goal because he was working hard and didn't get any luck. I liked how Holding was going tight. I liked how when the opportunity was there, Marie was getting tight to him, as you could see. You know, they were getting very tight to him. Sometimes too tight. There were elements of our game of doing silly stuff. Like I think Xhaka was crazy in that game. He played well, but I remember he played a nonchalant flick and he forced Marie in the 29th minute to make a good save. A couple of times El Nene was giving the ball away carelessly and he forced Holding to make a big save. You know, you had a couple of those moments where a couple players were in old habits, but I think we were superb, really. You see, like I was saying, you know, you had Tammy here, you had Werner, who got hooked at halftime, and you had Pulisic. Now, Pulisic, for me, watching the game first time round, I think he was wreaking havoc, you know. I think he was wreaking havoc. I think he was getting at people. I think he was doing a lot. But I think where he was going wrong, you know, for us watching it first time round, I think he was causing trouble. He was drifting inside and, you know, he was dribbling. But I felt that came at a consequence because him going inside and Werner not defending, it allowed, obviously, you saw Bellerin to go forward and you saw Kieran Tierney. He needed no introduction. I think they didn't help Reece James out at all. I think Reece James held it up. I actually feel on the topic of Reece James, we was allowing him when he got forward too much time and space. You can't give Reece James time and space on the ball because he can deliver them crosses in behind. He can deliver it first time in there. He could play it inside. But going back to the defensive thing now, he's being done. Like, he's not being helped. You could see even, you know, for the goal, well, what led to the penalty, you know, Reece James is quite narrow marking someone and he's probably expecting his winger to help him out. He doesn't help him out. It goes into the path of Tierney and you know the rest of the script as to what happened in that regards, people. You know, Werner actually, it wasn't actually Pulisic. Werner and Pulisic swapped flanks and Werner didn't go back with Tierney. And that, you know, Tierney was allowed that space and obviously Reece James made a stupid mistake ultimately, which led to the goal, which was a problem. For me, I liked our pressing, you know. Again, before we even talk about the pressing, bring my fullbacks back. I'm so excited. Bring my fullbacks back. Put Chelsea's front three there. Before I even talk about the pressing, people, yeah, I think this game highlighted what happens when you've got real wingers or real wide threats and things like that, you know, because you had Gabriel Martinelli, you know, he's pressing, his movement, inside and out, just creating problems. You know, Lacazette's pressing very well. Saka's coming inside and linking up and going down the flanks. And Pepe has a big problem, you know. Saka's been given the number 7. He's 19 years of age. The only thing that will save Pepe at this club, in my opinion, is the fact of he's cost 72 million quid or up to that. If the club don't want him and Arteta doesn't want him, then clearly sometimes you need to just, and I think that's Arsenal's problem. When we have a player that it ain't worked out, we keep progressing. I still think Pepe can come good to some sorts. He's not going to live up to expectations. But if we realize he's a dud and Arteta clearly don't rate him, you know, we've got to look to move him on. Now, do I see the club as, especially when they're in financial constraints, taking a hit like that? You know, because you're going to have to take a hit on Pepe. You're not even going to get, you're hoping for 35 to 40 million. You're not going to get that for Pepe. You know, you're probably going to get a loan, you know, and again, is it worth loaning out a 25-year-old on that much piece? It don't make sense, does it, people? You know, so again, did this club shake me as someone? Let's just say, you know, big up Arteta for the game. And I'm not saying Arteta should get sacked, but let's just say it was a thing like this now. Boom. The club have conceded that Pepe is a flop. They want to get rid. Like I said, you got 72 million in variables. I'm not sure of the upfront fees, but, you know, if they're going to pass man on, they're going to have to take a hit. So you're going to have to take a loss on Pepe now, you know, however many millions lost. Let's just say they said, all right, Arteta, you're not the guy. They've got to pay up Arteta 6 odd million and whatnot. And don't forget, they've got to do that. Then they've got to bring in a new manager and they've probably got to bring in a new winger because we'd still need a wide man. Because as media as Pepe's been, you look at his numbers, he's been a mediocre improvement and there's still a bit of a player in there. I just feel with Pepe, He hasn't got the trust of the manager. You need to earn the manager's trust, but there's got to be a player there. He's had some good hot and cold moments. I just think his mentality, he's got to fix up. You know, Pepe's got to want it consistently. I think he's got to stop being so passive. And accepting things like the lack of movement in behind. You know, he's in a real problem. But going back to the players, you know, Smith Rowe, again, Smith Rowe should have scored in the 32nd odd minute. You know, he had some good, cute touches. He nutmegged Kante and stuff like that, which I felt depressed seeing. But yeah, I think, you know, you can't go back. We can't go back to Willian and these sort of man on the flanks, you know. We can't because you saw Saka's movement, Martinelli's movement inside, outside, dropping deep. Just by moving, you're taking man with you. You know, Reece James doesn't know, do I go in or do I stay? If he stays, we can run onto him. If he comes onto us, there's space. Maybe Smith Rowe can exploit. Like you saw in the game, Smith Rowe was, you know, he was linking up well. Tierney was going forward. You had Martinelli there. You know, you had Tierney going forward. You had Smith Rowe peeling out to the left. And Reece James was getting savaged. And when you ain't got wingers backing you, there's nothing Reece James could have done, really. And the same went on the right-hand side as well. You know, for me as well, forget all of that. I could wax lyrical about them. But for me, just by pressing, like you saw the way Lacazette was pressing, you know, you saw the way Smith Rowe was pressing. You saw we pressed as a unit, man. We gave them problems. Like, isn't there a time, was it Saka or Lacazette? I think there was a little madness from a Chelsea throw-in and Thiago Silva got dispossessed and it amounted to nothing. Or them times there, second half, when Lacazette just by pressing presented the ball by Mendy. Now, I think Lacazette should have scored. But yeah, Martinelli should have had a goal. But this is what you get with pressing and things like that. And for me, my front three is Saka on the right, Pepe, Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Aubameyang through the middle. I know man can talk about hold up play and all of these sort of things and them things there, but for me, we need quick, dynamic movement. You also need the midfielders to continue being brave and passing them the ball, because there's no point man flying forward like you saw against Chelsea if Smith Rowe wasn't brave on possession, if Xhaka by his own standards wasn't brave, if El Nene, you know, to be fair, El Nene was still going backwards quite a lot, but he was going forward as well. I couldn't believe my eyes, people. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I have to big up them for that one there, man. You know, man to a man, we did our job. And I think when you look at it on a fair thing, you can't really say anything more than that, really. You know, they did what they needed to do. We capitalized on a hungover Chelsea side. Like I said, the lineup had everybody in shock. You know, we killed their left-hand side. We played players in their best positions, you know. For me, as much as we can talk about tactics, it's all a mental thing, because I saw clarity of mind. I saw people that, you know, whether they won or lost, they were ready to try and seize their future. And for all the tactics and things, this is what the players need to do. They need to believe they can win, because this belief has been missing, and especially at home, you know. Again, and it brings the age-old question, you know, why were you showing it against Chelsea? Where was this against Wolves, against Villa, against the rest of them, you know? Take the good from this game and apply it consistently, because ifs and buts are not going to do anything. The only fact is consistency, and our lack of consistency or our ability to improve consistency will be what make or breaks this season even further, in my humble opinion, together with the transfer market. Because I do feel with this win, the fans are going to be less on the necks of Mikel Arteta, the players and the club, to make changes or play better, because there's been a bit of a win. That's the thing about Arsenal. We shut up and we shut up and things about when it goes well, and then we want to have massive dialogue and things like that. We have massive dialogue and things like that when we lose. You know, I want Aubameyang back through the middle. Of course, people can talk about hold up play and things like that, but does Jamie Vardy have the best hold up play in the world? Is Jamie Vardy trying to fight, man? You know, they play to his strengths. I'm not saying, you know, Lacazette can't be in the team, but this is where I get at, where I say you need different options in the team. You need some games it's going to be Lacazette, some games you're going to need Aubameyang through the middle, some games you might even go Martinelli through the middle and go with Aubameyang. We need options, we need adaptability and things. Big up Leno for his penalty save as well. Forget his save, I feel Leno's distribution was much better as well. Apologies, people. I want to skip to the third goal as well, because the third goal impressed me a lot, man. The third goal really impressed me. That was a goal from last season, in my opinion. You know, I saw a very good goal in that regards. Just want to remove some people because it makes this much easier. You know, let's say that's Chelsea's front three. Let's focus on. Oh, I'm looking for things that are in my hands. Madman. You know, you've got them there. Let's just focus on Chelsea's free, people. Now, this is a free from Chelsea, yeah? You had Saka, you had Smith Rowe, right? Yeah. Not to scale, obviously, it's a tactics board, people. But what I was impressed, that the third goal was a goal from last season, in my humble opinion, people. It really was. We've played out from the back. If you remember, Leno shouted at El Nene or something, and he's giving it to El Nene. El Nene's gone back to Xhaka. Eventually, it's ended up with, there's a couple more phases, but long story short, the key point is, it's Bellerin bombing forward. Bellerin's bombing forward. Then you've got Smith Rowe, who pressed into that space. Smith Rowe went well. You had Bellerin into that space. You had Smith Rowe there as well in support. And then you had the crucial Bukayo Saka. Apologies, people. We broke. We absolutely hit them, and ultimately it ends up with Bellerin passing it to I believe, Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe passes it to Saka. Obviously not to scale. Saka has a bit of luck with finding the far post. But again, that's about 10 passes I counted when I watched the game again. 10 passes, quick, dynamic passes, trying to cut them open very quickly. That's what I want to see from Arsenal. That's what I wanted to see, because we had some, it looked like there was clarity. When Leno had the ball, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. Bellerin, you know exactly what you want to do. And that's what I wanted to see from us, people. There is no way of talking about the free kick, people. It's a fantastic strike from Xhaka. It's a fantastic strike. Maybe in hindsight, the keeper's positioning can be a bit better, because you did see something along the lines of this. He did offer a lot of this of his left hand side to Xhaka, but it's a fantastic strike from Xhaka. It was a good strike from the lad, man. It was a good strike from the lad. I've got a lot of time for what they did yesterday, and it's about building upon this, really and truly. Now, the goal, we let ourselves down, like I said. We're actually hit on the counter attack. We're hit on the counter attack. I feel Joe Willock, and I can't remember who else, but Joe Willock's actually done well initially to get back. And then it's a poor collective goal to concede, really and truly. If you remember rightly, they've countered us. It's a long ball from the right-hand channel. It's a long ball from Mason Mount just into Callum Hudson-Odoi. Again, I'm skipping ahead a bit. It was more open than this. At the time, there was only 2 man back when it went to Callum. And I think initially Joe Willock done very well to kind of just hold him up. But then I think he switched off a bit. He was a bit too easy. He's allowed Callum Hudson-Odoi to put a ball in. Bellerin in the second half, he had a nice little knock defensive header, but I feel we all switched off, and we've allowed Tammy Abraham to score an instinctive finish. It doesn't matter if he scores with his belly or whatever. They did what they needed to do. So it's crazy. What are you saying? You and Turkish shouldn't do your stream at the same time. Nearly missed yours because I was watching his. Apologies, but there's no rules. If I want to do it at 12, I'll do it at 12. If he wants to do it at 12, he will do it at 12. What can we say in that regards, people? We've all got busy lives. I like to do mine at 12. The beautiful thing about YouTube is you can watch it again and again. Like you said, he was lazy on the cross. And with Joe Willock, that's happened a lot of times. I beg you, go back to the game last season where we played Liverpool in the Cat Yarabel, where Joe Willock scored a banger. He switched off defensively. It's crazy. And like you said, big up Turkish, but can't live watching the next man. Exactly. So yeah, man, it was good tactically from what I saw. I saw maturity from the young G's. I saw performances. I really liked Holding and Marie. I think, in games like this, the defenders aren't really going to get praised like that. I think Bellerin was good. I think Leno made a big save, as you saw. I think the 2 centre halves, apart from Marie giving away the penalty, which was silly. We did what we needed to do, really and truly, on a game-by-game basis. Everybody was up for it. And again, it's the age-old ifs, buts, and whatnot. If we can do this collectively, there might be half a chance for us to have a decent season, people. Please don't forget to hit the like button, people. It doesn't cost a thing. It does not cost a thing. Don't forget to hit the like button. So, yeah, we've spoken about the game from a tactical point of view. I hope you like my new toys. I thought, you know what, this will make it better for you guys. I'm going to fix the lighting up. Trust me, people, the lighting's going to get patterned. Today, it was just jarring. I didn't want to be in it today. Really and truly, I'm getting quite tired. But yeah, man. I just feel with Joe Willock, I think Joe Willock's got to start offering something beyond just being industry and putting himself around, because you need that. But what happens if we get another midfielder like Partey, or when Partey's fit? There is no real need for him. I feel he's all gear or no idea at the moment. I feel when he's got a job to do, like you saw against City, you know, because when he's got a job against City, he can do things. But when we're playing teams where we might have to sit back, they might sit back against us. I don't see what Joe's gonna give. I think Joe is a bit brainless, and I need to see a bit more refining from him. He needs to be a bit more. He needs to start refining himself. He doesn't need to be the finished article. But yeah, man, I don't really see what Joe's strengths are or whatnot. As much as I admire his tenacity, his work rate, and all of that sort of stuff. These are givens in midfield. Surely you should have that as a midfielder. We'll have to see. Trust me, too much Xmas food, man. That running up that stairs was a madness, man. Big up yourself, JP. I hope you're well as well. Bro, in relation to Lampard, I think he's vexed. And to be fair, I'm not going to lie to him, Again, Chelsea have probably been in this poor form because of themselves. But at the same time, I don't think it was a tactics thing. I don't think Lampard tells them to play long balls. I definitely think Lampard preaches playing 5-yard passes. Again, I'm not a Chelsea fan. I'm not saying you can't question Lampard and things like that. But I just feel, looked on that. If I supported Chelsea, again, I could have my problems over Lampard, but I genuinely think it was the players, because I'm seeing Mason Mount and Kante next to each other, struggling to play 5-yard passes. Fullbacks are not wingers are not helping their fullbacks. Tammy Abraham's isolated. Against an Arsenal team, midfield is crucial, and that midfield can be overrun. You didn't actually put Arsenal under pressure. And I ultimately feel the attitude came from the players. I don't think Lampard was preaching not to be complacent. You heard him in his press conference. I didn't agree with that, though. I didn't understand the Kovacic one, because there were some moments in the game, the one good thing I saw from Kovacic, did you not see that? I can't lie, Xhaka got ripped. You see that little flick he did and he was gone. And I think Marie came and clattered him and took him out. I would have thought he would have kept Kovacic on. I feel Werner was going to be the one to get subbed, clearly. I think Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi look like to be the ones to cause trouble. Big up everyone in Q8. Let me actually, making sure I ain't missed out anything. There was a couple of other points that I wanted to speak about. Somebody send out a search party for finding Timo. Couple of other stuff in relation to that. Where's my bullet points, man? Where's my bullet points? Because I had some couple of talking points that I missed in the game, like the nutmeg. Oh, random takeaways, people. Let me share my screen really quickly with you guys. Share my screen. Share screen. Screen 2. You don't know. Let's go. So these were the random takeaways for me, people. For those of you who care, Lacazette is Arsenal's top scorer in the Premier League with 4 goals. Last night, he scored his first goal since September. So shows not only his problems and individual player problems, but shows that we're struggling to score goals generally. Like I said, my random takeaways. The jury for me is still out on Pablo Mari. He made a good block to deny Tammy Abraham. I think he did to deny Pulisic. I think he was good with Tammy Abraham. He got tight. I think his lack of pace is going to be an issue. I think he did well, but for me, the jury's still out, because I still don't know what he's about, really. I saw some things that would concern me and some things I'm thinking cool. But, considering that was his first start since injury, it's calm for me. And for me, in an ideal world, like many Arsenal fans, I'm sure, you might be open to bringing in another centre-half, but if you was going to say any centre-halves are going to give in a look in this year or years to come, you'd say Marie, because he's just been bought, and obviously Saliba and Gabriel. I don't think much of Holding. I think Holding can be 4th, 5th choice, and if he really develops, he can do beyond that. But I think Holding had a good game, and I think Holding's one of them. You're never going to be completely confident in Holding, because he makes some good tackles and then he does some booky passes. But I like Holding, man. I think he wears his heart on his sleeve. I think he does his thing for us. Random and off topic, but I'm watching Leeds versus Burnley, and it looks like former Arsenal player Josh Benson is playing for Burnley. You've got him, you've got Nathan Tella at Southampton, and you've got Josh Martin enjoying life at Norwich in the Championship. So it tells you football's a funny old game of opinions. But like I said, jury's still out. Xhaka, like you saw, back talking on socials, and again, he's a player that is scapegoated rightly and wrongly sometimes. it's never right to have a scapegoat. You can criticize a performance. Big performance from Granit Xhaka, but again, it's all ifs and buts. Is he going to do this against Brighton? Can he do it against Brighton? I don't think too many people's opinions have changed on the player. Smith Rowe should have scored, of course, but he had some great touches. He was good with his pressing. I don't think he was amazing, but he took his opportunity to a degree, and I think he should play against Brighton. You know, I think what I was looking at from him, I know he's got technical ability, but for me, it's mentality. Sometimes he doesn't always look like, he looks a bit starstruck. He looks a bit unsure of himself. And like I said, for me, people underestimate how mental football is. You know, he's got the technical ability. So I think while he should have scored, he had a good game. I've spoken about that was a naughty skill on Xhaka. To be fair, man, that was a good skill. We saw his cheeky little nutmeg. I'm not going to lie, based on that game, as great as Saka was, the corners, bro, like the corners, man. And can we just get players who could take corners? Saka's corners were a bit mad. And you've got to big up Gabriel Martinelli and the energy he brings and the pressing he brings to the table and to the team, man. Like, you know, he gets it. He gets it. Saka gets it. Martinelli gets it. You know, and he's in a positive way. He's aggressive. Sometimes it's a bit overindulging in it, but it is what it is in that regards. People are atting me. Cool. Nobody's trying to cancel DG and things like that on perfect timing. We're all disappointed every time we lose. We don't like losing. That's the Chelsea mentality. We always want to win games. Cool. And there's nothing better than seeing Chelsea losing. You know, the boss's assessment. We're not going to waste time on that. As you can see, I've been enjoying myself. People retweeted all these things. You know. Shameless. Hey. I think it was pretty damning that Havertz was left on the bench till later on, that Werner got clipped. And I think when you add in Werner, Havertz, you know, you're touching over 100 million. You've got Kepa with his own problems. You're closing in on 200 million now. Lampard's been backed. It's not like an Arsenal thing where you can look at Arteta and say, yo, all right, cool, the tactics are poor, but then you've got the Kroenkes and the rest of him. Apart from a centre half and maybe a defensive mid, off the basis of the fact that apparently he wanted Declan Rice, whatever you got. You know, you've got great players, and I still don't see what Chelsea are about. You know, we knew they could score goals. We knew they were a threat from crosses, but I just don't think Chelsea are looking like a unit they should be. I don't think, and again, I don't know Chelsea like that, but I do think some of the heat on Lampard, you know, not constructive criticism, but calls for him to come out are a bit premature. But yeah, as you can see, man, you know, this guy was seen moaning at everybody. Aspilicueta, boy, 100% focus. Where? Stop tweeting and actually get to it. Because when we were working hard, you lot were doing up the chattings. Ben Chilwell came back from injury and it amounted to nothing. Moving away from that, let's actually go and look at some of what the gaffer and some of our players have had to say, people. Let's look at Tierney, one of the few players who gets it. You know, Tierney was outstanding. For me, one of the best left backs in the Prem. I'm only having Robertson over him, really and truly. I rate Reguilon, I rate Dejane, I rate Bearman, but I'm only having Robertson over him. If that makes sense. And I wouldn't even swap Robertson for Tierney personally. Call it bias, call it whatever you want. And I love Tierney's mentality. You know, he calls things what they are. That Celtic mentality. You know, he has said, as you lot can see, shall I zoom in? Because I'm doing you lot dirty a bit. Sorry, people. Let's zoom in a bit. I think that one's calm. On the importance, it's a start, isn't it? We needed that win today, and we needed to give the fans something to be positive about. We've had a few bad results this season, so it's a start. When asked on what was different from today's performance, or about performance, he said, I think we started better today. You know, we haven't started well. We haven't started well enough too many times. You know, even this week, we were down after 3 minutes against City. So I saw a reaction. You know, he's like he said there, we didn't wait until we went 1 down to start playing or creating chances, because it's always hard when you're a goal down. And that's typically what we've seen. You know, we'll go a goal down, you know, like against Spurs and Wolves and City to a degree. You know, we'll huff and puff in the second half, ultimately get nothing. So it's lovely to see we started well. It's lovely to see a bit of game management, even down to the time wasting from the players, really, which I think is naive. Like he said, but we started on the front foot today. That's been the message in the last few weeks of training, and we did that. So again, Arteta's clearly been trying to preach to them to start strong, and they've not been getting it. You know, he said he's not seen it back. He felt contact. You did the right thing. When asked about the youngsters, he said all the youngsters here are hungry to play, and it's a big club. They've got the platform today, and today they started and they were brilliant. Big up Gabriel Martinelli, big up Smith Rowe. Obviously, we know what Saka's on. You know, Maitland-Niles, I think he was a bit pre-game, unfortunate not to start, but at the end of the day, you know, Bellerin, we're not talking about why Bellerin shouldn't have started, or maybe Cedric and Maitland. We're not talking about the midfielders, and that's credit to Xhaka and Bellerin. You know, give us a performance. People can't talk because I don't hate them. I hate what they do, the inconsistent form. I don't hate you as a person. I just call it as I see it. I love my football club more than I'll ever have, you know, football affiliations to either of you. If you play well, like Xhaka has shown generally at Arsenal, he's played well in patches and in stages. Last year, he ended it wrong. He ended it strong. Same goes for Bellerin. I just need to see consistency. You know, it's as simple as that. When asked on a nervous end to the game, he said, yeah, Leno's dug us out. It would have been another 5 minutes if that went in. So fair play to Leno. And to be fair with you, it could have went a different way for us because we've once conceded a 4-0 lead against a team. 3-2 is very nerving. It would have asked us questions, but big up to Leno, as he said. On what that win gives us, he said, as I've said, it's the start of something to build on. We've been looking to get that first win, the 3 points, but this is just a start. Chelsea are a good team and they're higher up the table than us. We knew it was going to be tough. So to come out with 3 points today is so important for us. And like Tierney said, it's a start, you know, big up the 3 points and whatnot, but we need to move, you know, we need to move forward. It is what it is. It's good in isolation, but Monday comes, it means nothing because now we have to focus on Brighton really and truly. It's as simple as that. And like you said, Shamar, consistency is key. Like Omar said, it means nothing if we don't go and put in a performance because then we're back to square one, really. Not too sure what that means, but fair play. You know, I think Dejane is a good player. That was probably some banter. Between them. They've all been called up for England. They've all probably played each other or with each other. It's probably just a little banter. And, you know, Saka saying he meant it. Tammy saying he meant it. All the man them are saying are gonna say they meant it and whatnot. People. Big up the super chat gang. I appreciate that. I think Pepe and Williams should have to work really hard if they want to start ahead of Saka and Martinelli. We still need a 10 along with Smith Rowe. I agree. I'd more like an 8.5 to go with Smith Rowe. I think the creative man in the side of the modern day midfielders now. I think long gone are those days of the traditional 10s. Like they're still about. Ozil still kicking ball. You know, you've still got my man. What's his name? Hamed. You could define him as that. But generally, the more the Kevin De Bruyne sort of type now and things like that, I'm a bit more industry. Do you get it? So I think we need an 8.5 more than anything, but who knows, man. But like Tierney said, it's a start. It gives us something to build upon. And sorry, I don't care about the highlights of the game. I've watched the game twice now. It's out of there. Let's see what else has been said, people. Let's see what the gaffer has had to say. Big up Arteta, because man, the Wolves would have been out for you, but you did your thing. On what that win says about the strength of the team, I'm not too sure if it says anything, but you know, he says, well, I think it's down to everyone because the senior players as well contributed in a different way, some on the pitch and some outside. Right when we were coming in off the bus, I could sense the energy and how much we wanted it. It doesn't get much better than to be playing in the Premier League on Boxing Day in a London derby. I said that today we needed to take this opportunity now to put some of the performances in the past where we didn't have the results into everything. We needed a big performance to win against this team, and we needed 3 points. And I think the boys right from the beginning did very well. And that's facts. You've got to praise and critique fairly. The boys were on it. And that's where, you see, when they've come off the bus, that's when you need to be switched on. Not when, oh crap, the ref is about to blow the whistle to start. It's mentality. And again, it's this if they can do this consistently, which right now I have to say no, because we're still chasing negative results. But I back you lot. I want you lot to do it, but you lot have to want it for yourself. In the same way you badly wanted 3 points to put in a performance to avoid embarrassment against Chelsea, you've got to want it. You know, you've got to want it against Brighton away. You've got to want it against Sheffield away. You've got to want it against Villa, against Everton, against Spurs, against Wolves, against Burnley, against Southampton. Games where, you know, we can chop and change how we feel, but we let ourselves down with cheap mistakes, not starting the game well, cheap mistakes leading to goals. So we've had to chase the game and many different individual and collective talking points. If you play like that, obviously losses are going to happen. We're definitely going to lose again, but it's how you maneuver. It's how you move with that. Like I said, big up the guys for the super chats, people. On Xhaka's performance, you know, let's just read it, really. He said, since I've been here, he has always shown that. That's why I've been really supportive of him. He makes mistakes like we all do, but his commitment and character and how much he wants to fight for this club and this team is unquestionable. And I think today he showed that again, which fair play to him, he did. When asked on the significance on the result, he said it was an important week going into the game. He said, it's a really important week for us. As I mentioned before, some of the performances haven't been good enough. toe in football matches. I think that's a mistake there, but haven't been good enough in football matches. And that is something difficult to handle over time. We needed the points, that is for sure. And today we have done it against one of the best teams in the league, which they're still fifth. Again, things might change, but they're still fifth and they're still up there for scoring goals and they're still doing well. They've hit a blip in recent weeks. You know, they've lost to Everton. They've lost another game as well, and they've lost to us in recent weeks. So they're having a bit of a blip, but the point remains. He said, can we do it every 3 days? That's the question mark to which we have to respond over the next week. And he said it there. It's irrelevant, more or less. It's a good win. It's a good feeling. We needed a point. But once again, it means nothing now. Monday comes, forget about it. Focus on Brighton because we've got a difficult trip to Brighton. They're going to, you know, we know how Mupay and all these guys move when they play against us. And then we've got the big clash, the relegation 6-pointer, you know, on the 2nd of January against Sam Allardyce. He's been talking about us already. We know him from his Bolton days. He don't like us. So we're going to need to be up for it against West Brom. And when you look at it, you know, West Brom got what? Kieran Gibbs, Kyle Bartley, Semi Ajayi, you know. There's always when you're former players like they've all been at Arsenal, you know, they're gonna want to put in a performance. And you've obviously got Conor Gallagher who's seen his parent club lose. He'd probably want to put one over. So we're gonna face some tough teams. We're in a tough period. Like he said, we need to do it every 3 games, but it's good for the confidence. And like he said, but today we needed the lift, and that's what I want to see. I want to see these boys tomorrow or today or whenever go into training with a smile on their faces, you know, because it can't have been too good around the training ground when you lose. So let's get a bit of happiness. Let's enjoy what we're doing and let's try and put some form in. Because too many times players have looked nervous, scared of making mistakes on top of poor tactics and things. It's been a negative cocktail. Let's try and move forward. And I think Arteta has to play the players that I can't question their mentality, whether we've won, lost or drawn. The Tierney's, the Martinelli's, the Sakas. Gabriel missed out because of Corona and Partey's got his injury business. But do you get it? You know, big up Lacazette. Lacazette scored, and I think he deserved that because in big games, he's worked very well for us. You know, he bagged against... Who did he bag against? Did he score against Liverpool? Lacazette might have scored against Liverpool. He definitely played well against United and pressed very well. He held it up against Chelsea. And I think in recent weeks, Lacazette's been doing all right. And he's done all right in the last 2 games he's played. So shout out to Lacazette. Is it the form to warrant a new deal? You lot tell me. I don't know. I'm not going to get involved in that, but we'll have to see, I guess, really. And like he said, you know, we needed that lift, and we can come away from the games with the points, and the boys are delighted, and I'm really happy for them, and of course the fans. When asked on the performance of the young players, he said, I think it was a really good mixture today of senior players, experienced players, and young talent that we have. They've been showing us in the last few weeks they're capable of starting games, and I had no doubt they would respond today, and I think they were really, really good. Facts. You know, there's nothing he could do. You know, one thing I'd say for Arteta, for all my criticism of him, he has been dealt a very unlucky card since he's joined Arsenal, because there's always been some drama, and you know, now you can forgive him. You know, he never had his spine of his team in what I would describe as Aubameyang, your captain, Partey, your best centre mid, and Gabriel, head and shoulders, your best centre half. He's missed them. Obviously, Corona's been messed him up, so he's going to miss the next few games. So he's probably not going to feature this week, and he'll be back for, I'd assume, whatever is after West Bromwich Albion, which I'm not too sure. And then when asked on David Luiz and Willian, he said, no, that is for some different reasons. They are having some symptoms, and we have to be really cautious when that happens. The protocols say they have to stay away. They have to test negative, but still we have to be really careful. We don't pass that into the players until we are 100% sure they don't have it. As you lot know, you know, he's not tested positive, thankfully, Gabriel, but he's come into close contact. You know, not going to read that out, but Partey's recovering from injury, and he's not going to be part of those 2 games. And for me, let's get it right with Partey. I badly want Partey back, especially because we beat Chelsea and we might be able to come into form, and we need our best players. Like, with all due respect to Xhaka and Elneny, one of you would be coming out of the team for me if Partey was fit. Gabriel slotting back in regardless of how Marie and Holding played. You know, David Luiz for Holding is a political one, really and truly. But yeah, so to be without Partey is what it is, people. But don't bring man back until they're fit, because we don't need no more injuries and knocks and him to miss any more football. When asked on Martinelli and Tierney, which should be the left-sided partnership we go with now, and I like that option. You know, we can play Aubameyang there, we can play Saka there, Martinelli can play there, Nelson can play there. Nelson's another one I want to see get some opportunities as well, because I think he would have stood up to be counted as well. I'm sure he started against, Chelsea at the Emirates and played well last season. I could be wrong. And he said, I think both of them were really good understanding, a lot of energy, really good communication and courage as well. They were really positive every time we were attacking with the runs, playing forward. They were both involved in a lot of good attacking action. So I'm very pleased. So I'm really pleased with them. Facts, can't add anything more to that, people, really and truly. You know, he said it all there, really. We've spoken about that. So let's put that blue. I think I've missed out a super chat. So let me unshare the screen quickly and go and find that. Apologies, my guy. You know it's never on purpose. I don't mean any malice. It's not showing up. Let me actually recover that. I think, well, it says there's another super chat. Big up yourself, Dean. I'm just happy we've won. One day I'll be worthy of a legendary status. Soon land, man. Do I have merch? 2021 landing. Trust me. Make sure you saved your Christmas money. We're going. Because you lot have been on to me too much about this merchandise. If I even drop t-shirts and hoodies, will you lot even buy it? I'm going to make sure specifically there's less. So then, if anything, we can come back, man. We can come back and get more, man. But you lot don't even rate the thing. Big up everyone. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. Big up yourself, Kareem. I'm good, man. I hope you're in good spirits as well. And things like that. Let's quickly look at some of the statistics, man. Big up the Twitter account, Orbino. You lot know me. I love this guy's account. I love the way he contextualizes statistics and things like that. Let me zoom in for you guys. As you can see, Ian Wright's going ballistic there. But let me go on this guy's Twitter account. I'm always plugging. This guy needs to drop me a follow, man. But moving forward, you know, Martinelli should have scored yesterday, but he had more shots than any other player in the game. We've got wingers. When was the last time they shot? You know, they weren't in the squad. When was the last time they shot? You know, we need this guy. You know, he's the real Brazilian in our team. He's Alexis Sanchez reincarnated. You know, his South American Brazilian spirit in a positive way is infectious and rubs off to the team. You know, he's got that youthfulness. He wants to buzz around and things like that. So I've got a lot of time for him. You know, I didn't want to be the guy to speak about William, but you can see it there, people. Twice as many shots on target in this game as William on the whole. And I'm not going to lie, William has looked like he's losing confidence. But when you're a poor player and you're lacking confidence, you know, you've got to get yourself out of it. And I don't think William has that champion mentality. I know he's got the CV and the trophies, but Martinelli is a young, hungry bull. He's here to savage stuff. You know, he didn't move his family and himself from Brazil and humble beginnings to come to Arsenal on a play thing. Most people could have been forgiven, you know, for that. He's hungry. He wants to. I see people that want to cement a legacy in football when he plays. You know, Smith Rowe, again, all competitions he's doing quite well. You know, has a goal involvement in every 52 minutes in all comps. Granit Xhaka's goal was Arsenal's first from outside the box in the Premier League this season. And, you know, Xhaka loves scoring from outside the area. When was the last time Xhaka scored from inside the area? As you lot can see, as I said earlier, Lacazette is our top goal scorer in the Premier League with 4 goals. However, since September, that's his first Premier League goal, which tells you the problems. We actually had some shots on target today. We managed 7 shots on target, which is our second most in a Premier League game after Norwich at home in July. You know, 7 of Granit Xhaka's 9 Premier League goals for Arsenal have come from outside the box. You know, his highlights reel is going to look amazing for Arsenal. Arsenal scored 8 goals from their last 14 shots on target against Chelsea. To be fair, Granit Xhaka's taken 23 kicks in the Premier League for Arsenal and scored with 3. To be fair to Xhaka, that's a good thing to be around. You know, only Thierry Henry, Alexis Sanchez, and I ain't going to say that Donny's name, have scored more direct free kicks for Arsenal than Xhaka. So it's decent. You know, I guess Lacazette loves to play under Michael Oliver because he's got 4 goals in his last 5 against such. You know, again, work ethic. You know, it's all minimums there. You know, Saka works hard, he's consistent, but look at the desire from my man. Look at the desire. You know, he's covered the most distance of any player in the game. You know, 11.5 kilometers. Special talent, like my man said. You know, to be fair to Joe Willock, he got stuck in when he came off the bench. Again, this shows Martinelli's tenacity. And I think it shows how good Kante is, because for me, Kante was woeful, you know, absolutely woeful in that game, but he's still up there. I don't think there's any other ones. You know, what else have I got? You know, we've got the Opta Joe there. Let's see what Opta Joe's got for our statistic man and women, guys and girls. Granit Xhaka is the first Arsenal player to score a direct free kick versus Chelsea in the Premier League since Thierry Henry in 2004. Quite a decent one for him again, I guess. What one's this? Is probably the same thing. If it's the same thing, I'm just going to scroll down till I see Arsenal-related content. You know, Arsenal have now won each of their last 10 matches on Boxing Day, as you lot can see. Bit irrelevant but relevant. I don't really care about Patrick Bamford, but let's go down and scroll down and scroll down and scroll down. Trying to find that Arsenal related tag. This morning it was here. You know, Timo Werner has now failed to score in his last 10 games in all comps, his longest drought since a run of 12 matches between March and September 2016, when he was between spells at Stuttgart and Leipzig. I guess Lampard and Roman Abramovich are trying to find their receipt for Donny. Arsenal have won 46 of their last 48 Premier League games in which they've led by 2 goals at half-time. During the other 2, this is the first time they've led by 2 goals before the break this season. So it was nice to start well and kill off a team. You know, it's what it is. Chelsea have lost just 2 of their last 17 Premier League meetings with Arsenal, which again tells you is what it is, man. I remember that 3-0 in September. Moving away from that, though, folks, and because we've been focusing on the game so much, let's get into all of this sort of stuff, people. And again, we're seeing more of the Mesut Ozil sort of Mesut Ozil versus Arteta, Arteta versus Mesut Ozil. And again, I don't know why this has come out. It's coincidental that it's come out after we've won. In the same way, I think there would have been more similar articles had we have lost. I don't really like to promote certain newspapers because they're all scummy. But as you can see, apparently, Arsenal are, let me read the head. You know, Arsenal players are said to be split over a potential recall to the squad for the influential midfield outcast Mesut Ozil next month. As you lot know, his deal expires in the summer, and you all know how much he's on. Not that he handed that wage to himself. Let's move on. Actual bulk of it, you know, we all know he could speak to teams in January. I'm trying to find that, you know, these articles just have hella jargon. You know, we know Ozil's been a consistent presence. You know, he said his situation is very difficult and frustrating. And to be fair, he hasn't been given a chance. You know, again, why are you showing us irrelevant articles? Again, there's nothing of relevance in here. Apparently, they're split. You know, can you see anything saying why they're split? This is what the article says. We're reading through it, and it hasn't said anything really and truly. You know, we know he's called his situation difficult. You know, I can't. There is nothing there really and truly. You know, apart from players are reportedly divided over the return, so some want him to come back and some don't. And again, apparently, we've heard that already. Arteta's alienation of Ozil has played a part. But again, you know, it isn't good news when some are lobbying him for him to be recalled, and obviously Arteta doesn't. And I can imagine that some people are probably saying Ozil shouldn't. So again, all we should be doing is moving through, you know, moving to the collective. Ozil isn't playing, he's not relevant. But again, this is just unneeded talking points, really and truly. And there is nothing in this article beyond what we know. It just seemed a bit lazy. There's been a lot of rumors about signing Julian Brandt and things like that. I definitely don't like this newspaper. I wish I could blur it out. But yeah, I might soon land, man. Soon land. Trust me, soon land. Thank you very much, Dow Square, for that super chat. I appreciate you. You've said MA bigging up Xhaka's character. This Don played his 1 in 8 good game, and then in an interview moans like a child about who's talking about him. He did scream a bit insecure with me. It's a bit, you know, it does tell me about your mentality when you're not coming out when you've lost. You know, you're not coming out when you lose with that energy. You're coming out now, and when we lose, and when we do lose again, which I don't want to happen, of course, are you going to have that same energy? I hate this article, people. But as you lot know, David Ornstein has previously reported that we're looking at Alwa and Julian Brandt. We should have went for Julian Brandt when he was at Leverkusen. Too little, too late. And I keep hearing this. Apparently they had reservations over Szoboszlai. Now there's reservations over Alwa. What is all of this, people? Apparently he's no longer a priority signing. Maybe he's someone that they want to wait until the summer, people. Are you going to get Julian Brandt in the winter? I don't know. But apparently the Gunners are set to dip into the January transfer window to add some creativity to the ranks after a horrid start to the Premier League this season, which obviously leaves us just about above relegation zone. As you guys also know, Arteta and Edu have been very vocal in that we need a creative player. We've been linked with a lot of players who I'd describe as has-beens and damaged goods, but let's see. You know, again, Arteta's side reportedly had weighed up a move for Dominic Szoboszlai. As you lot know, he's gone to Leipzig. And now we're chasing after Alwa. Apparently, the report states Julian Brandt is on their radar, despite only starting 6 games this season. I like him a lot, people. He's clearly, just where you're looking at, he clearly has struggled at Dortmund. I would still go for Julian Brandt. I do have question marks over the physicality of him. That's my only reservation. Bro, you trust me. Trust me. Big up the members, man. Trust me. It means we're broke. Trust me. Big up M as well. The Northwest Killy them. Again, it means we're not spending this reservation thing. It means that for me, I was taking as you think these guys are not players. You think there's concerns. You can't really say anything. I think this is a rubber. You know what, John Terry, you're a wronging for what you was doing. I'm tired of speaking about Lucas Torreira. If Lucas Torreira doesn't want to be at this club, he's allowed to keep it moving, but he's again been linked with Torino people. Again, we've heard that this loan spell at Atletico is going to end early. We've also heard reports that it isn't. And again, this is a typical paper that seems to be talking about it. Apparently Edu is dealing with the situation. As you lot know, he can't buy a start right now. And I think for now, Torreira needs to ask himself, because cool, yeah, you could say you was hard done by last season, but you've gone to Atletico and it ain't worked out. So now you've got to start looking inwards and asking yourself questions as to why it hasn't worked out for yourself, rather than do the blame game. And since he's gone, he's really rubbed me up the wrong way, man. Divisions are there. Apparently, there's an angry outburst from Azpilicueta. As the baby spat out his dummy. Because you're one of the top see you next Tuesdays when we play Chelsea. That's an acronym. Literally type out CUNT, people. That's what I believe of Azpilicueta, or Dave as they refer to him as. Apparently, Pablo Mari went down to receive treatment, which was all too much for Azpilicueta. Shut up and stick to the bench, mate. That's why you was there, my guy. We're not happy with you. Another one on the floor. The Spaniard was shouting. Heard from the stands. Okay, cool. But when you lot are diving, you're not saying anything. You're just sour, man. You're just sour because you're on the bench. You're just sour because your team lost. It's all right, my G. It's all right. This is a bit irrelevant, people. I was trying to just find signings of the seasons, people, so far. And these are guys I would say, you've got, I would say Højbjerg's been good for the money, as has Martinez. Jota of Liverpool, definitely Gabriel. Got Martinez is so good, I've got him twice. So yeah, people, that's that in that regards. There isn't anything else. Like you saw, I typed in Arsenal. There's their football to speak about. So yeah, man, I might as well remove that. What are you lot saying? What are you guys saying? Don't think Willock is good enough. It's down to him to prove you wrong, I guess. Beyond industry and engine, I don't see what he's on. Really don't. Big up the members, them. Torreira needs to chill before he's one of those clubless dons at 28. He just seems a bit soft. It seems a bit soft. And I always say, winners take accountability, losers blame. It seems like he's just blaming everyone, really and truly. That's all he's doing. If he doesn't want it, keep it moving. I would love Torreira to stay in the squad and be part of the squad, but boy, it's a bit mad. I think Smith Rowe was good. I think he was really good in that game. He should have scored, but he did all right. It is very good, but again, it's 2 wins. It's 2 wins. You look at the last 2 wins we have, they're against United and Chelsea. In isolation, they're great wins, but they've been sandwiched. We need to put a run of form together, my guy. Let me type in Arsenal fixtures just to pre it, because I'm sure after West Brom is a little break and then we're doing up Newcastle and that. So yeah, it means it's a good result. But look, people, in the league, you've got to play Brighton, you've got West Brom, you've got Crystal Palace at home, you've then got Newcastle at home, you've got Southampton away. There's a 3-game period, which again, to end the month, end January, is going to be a tough one. You've got Southampton at St. Mary's. Look how tough it was for Man United. For City there. That's a tough game. You've got United at home, which we won last year, and I'm sure after losing at Old Trafford, they're going to want to do something. We've got to go to the Molineux, and play Wolves. And again, I'm sure nobody wants to play Wolves at all. I'm not on it. So the games are coming thick and fast. They're coming thick and fast. So we're gonna need to be at our best, really. Let me make sure I'm doing this scrolling thing properly. But like you can see, people, our run of games are crucial. You know, you've got West Bromwich Albion, Sam Allardyce. Them and they are going to want to rain on our parade. Let's not be disrespectful because before that, as I've just said, you've got to play Brighton. Crystal Palace at home is going to be tough. Newcastle's a tough game. But I don't want to play Southampton at St Mary's. That game should scare every Arsenal fan. You've got to play United at home. You know, February, you've got Wolves, as I've said. You know, got another trip to Midlands where Villa have been very good this season. Leeds at home. They gave us a taste of what to expect at their place. They don't travel well. I hope that's still the case. I think, Adam, you're setting yourself up for failure with that. We don't have any easy games. You know, football, it sounds cliche, but none of these games are easy. None of them are one on paper. And excluding the Chelsea game, you know, none of these, you can say none of these are easy games. Would you have said that if we didn't beat Chelsea and we go off the form of last year? Last couple of weeks, apologies. I'm not too sure. You can see, and then you've got City, you've got Leicester, you know, Burnley away, Spurs at home after beating us, West Ham away. April is peak as well. Liverpool probably going to be league champions by then. Sheffield United away. Fulham, them man, they are fighting relegation like us. So this is around the time you see them play even better. You know, I'm sure Carlo Ancelotti's men want to do the double over us. You've obviously got Newcastle in May at their place. You know, we're going to play Newcastle 3 times this season. We've got to play them at our place. We've got them in the FA Cup. Obviously, we've got to go to St James's. You know, West Brom have to come to our place. Another team probably fighting relegation. You know, 2 difficult London derbies. Selhurst Park is a myth. Stamford Bridge is a dangerous ground to go to. And you got Brighton at home to end things. So the games aren't easy. But to have any chance, man, have to stand up to be counted. It's as simple as that. Guys have to really want this. So we'll have to see in that regards. We really have to see what's going to happen, man. Really have to see, man. You know, I would like to see that, but it would be a good option. I think if Gabriel's fit, he walks into that team. I think if Partey's fit, he walks in. I think I'm personally making a space for Aubameyang, but I agree with the premise. You know, people should have to earn their shots and get back in it, earn it and whatnot. I think that's a bit harsh in relation to Julian Brandt, but fair play, fair play. And this is it, Danny Welbeck. He's coming to do a madness against us, man. He's coming to do a madness. So yeah, man, I don't think there's anything more to add on to that, people. So yeah, man, get the likes up for me, people. You lot are doing me dirty. I keep asking you lot to hit the like button. I would still give Pepe chances, but it is what it is with Pepe. I still think, you know, we can't get hung up on this. It's a squad game. There's a lot of football to be played. You know, certain players that played well yesterday are going to have underwhelming games. Our young players, you know, with the exception of Martinelli and Saka, are still trying to add consistency. So there is opportunities for Pepe. He's just got to do some soul searching, really, because it's not looking good. I don't think I've got anything more to add, people. So I'm going to leave you lot. I'm not going to waste any more of your time, people. It's been a pleasure having you guys here. Please make sure you hit the like button. I'll probably be back tomorrow around 12 p.m. Maybe later. Just make sure you're paying attention because I heard YouTube done you dirty. So let's see what happens, man. Please make sure you hit the like button, people. Please make sure you hit the like button. More like undiluted. Fair play. Smash the like. Come on, people. Come on, like I said, merchandise soon landing. I see one of you brothers say, big up Lloyd, I've got you. Big up yourself, B, I've got you. I've got you lot soon, man. You know, hit the post a lot of times, man. Hit the post a lot of times. Shout out El Nene. El Nene's even licking off the crossbar. So yeah, man, people, I'll be back again. But for now, people, DG, I'm out. God bless. I've got nothing more to add though.